The Philippines says Chinese vessels have fired water cannon at two Philippine Coast Guard boats in disputed waters in the South China Sea. According to Philippine authorities, one of their boats was damaged in the incident on Tuesday. The confrontation occurred after China put up a barrier around fishing waters traditionally used by the Philippines. China claims most of the region as its own, dismissing rival claims by the Philippines and other countries. They accuse Beijing of ignoring maritime laws in the area. Our correspondent James Chater is following this story for us from Taipei. James, what more can you tell us about this incident?
Well, as you mentioned, really dramatic pictures emerging from the South China Sea. What we saw there is a Philippine Coast Guard vessel surrounded really on both sides by two Chinese Coast Guard vessels firing what we understand was pretty high water pressure cannons at the Philippine vessels. And as you mentioned, we understand that that Philippine Coast Guard vessel has sustained some damage. Now, we know that this incident took place near the Scarborough Shoal. This is a rock formation or a reef in the South China Sea, which has really been front and center of these ongoing maritime disputes between China and the Philippines. No country has sovereignty over the Scarborough Shoal, but it's been the center of ongoing maritime disputes, given that China claims the Scarborough Shoal is within its so-called 9-dash line. This is a stretch of water, almost the entirety of the South China Sea, which China claims as its own, despite a 2016 court ruling that it had no legal basis to do so. The Philippines, for its part, says these waters are part of its exclusive economic zone and say that China's growing assertiveness in this region impinges on the rights of its fishermen and raises the prospect of confrontation in the South China Sea, a critical waterway for global trade.
This, of course, is not the first time we've seen this kind of incident. What message is Beijing trying to send with these confrontations in the South China Sea, James?
Well, of course, the key context is this incident comes as the US and the Philippines are undertaking their largest annual military drills, the Balakatan exercises, also called shoulder to shoulder, with some 16,000 personnel taking part in those drills, which for the first time this year includes maritime drills taking place outside of the Philippine territorial waters within its exclusive economic zone, conducting drills very much with altercations with Beijing like this in mind. The critical context, of course, underpinning all of this, though, is that Washington is a mutual defense treaty ally of the Philippines, and so is treaty-bound to come to the defense of Manila should it come under attack by a foreign force. This is something that Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has reiterated recently, saying that if a Filipino serviceman is killed in an incident like this, this could be something that triggers the mutual defense treaty with Washington. And so really broad concerns that this latest escalation in this ongoing saga of maritime disputes could be what brings Washington and Beijing into direct conflict.
A real flashpoint, as it were. James Chater in Taipei, thank you very much.